Hello everyone, welcome back to my YouTube channel. My name's Samantha and it's so nice to have you here. Today I thought it would be fun to do a little tour of my sewing room so you can see where all of the magic happens. If you want to see that, then keep watching, and I would absolutely love it if you hit the subscribe button, like this video, and comment what you want to see next. I'm also wearing a top that I made the other day. If you want to see, it's very sparkly and fun. And I definitely think I'm going to make more of them. But anyway, let's get into the video. So this is what you see when you first walk into my sewing room. I've got heaps of stuff in here. First up is right next to my door is this massive mirror that I have. This is where I take all of my videos once I've finished with an outfit, and this is a closer look at the top that I made today. From there we go straight over to my machines, which is where I make all of my stuff. This one here is my newest machine. It's a computerized Singer machine and I use it for pretty much all of my stuff. I do kind of like chop and change between them, but it just depends on what I'm making. At the top here I've got all of my overlocking threads and then my size tags in there. This was my old machine. I did bedazzle it, so I haven't thrown it away because I just can't. And then this is my overlocker or serger, which I use for all of my projects. It's really old, but it does the trick. So that's all of my sewing space there. I kind of go from this machine to that machine to this machine, and it just depends on what I'm working on. Over here is my little design space. I've got all of my brand mood boards and all of my ideas up on the wall just so I can see it. And then this is the bottle of champagne that I'm going to open once I launch my brand as a little pat on the back to me. But this is the desk where I do all of my designing, video editing, TikToks, whatever. When you come over here, this is my little rack of clothes that I've been making. I made this little pajama set the other day, and then these are the shorts that I made as like a mock-up. But I actually really like the fabric that I use, so I might make more of them. This is a beautiful skirt that I made. I'm going to make another one of these in satin so that it's opaque, but I love the lace look as well. And then this is probably my favorite thing that I've made. I'll put a video on the screen of what it actually looks like on, but that is just like the most beautiful evening dress. Then it gets to my bathers. I've got a little sparkly bather top, then some bikinis that I also made. The silver one, that one's my first one. Then I made this beautiful long slinky dress, which reminds me of an oil spill. And then this gold one here. I don't have all of my clothes on this rack, but I just kind of put the sparkly pretty ones up there. And then this is my beautiful dress that I made in a YouTube video copying Kylie Jenner. If you want to watch that, you really should. It's really good video. And I just love this dress so much. I made it for New Year's. Then over here is most of my pattern pieces that I've made for my collection. All of the ones that are small enough to go on this rack usually go up here because it's just an easy way to store them and I don't like folding them. But that's pretty much what all of they are there. Then I've just got my pattern making paper in that little bin that you just saw. Over to my mannequins, I have my beautiful mannequin here that I do for most of my draping. And then the black one there, I use that one because you can adjust the size of it based on the measurements of whatever you're making. So I kind of go between those two depending on what I'm making. Then we've got my beautiful cat tower over here that I just got the other day. And Chandler is the king of the castle as always. We've got my ironing board and my iron, and then I've just got some fabric swatches on the wall there of just stuff that I've got in my collection so I don't have to dig it all out. And then we'll go through all of the fabrics that I have in my table in a second, but on top I do have two self-healing cutting mats. I find that this is so much easier to just cut fabric with a rotary cutter instead of pinning it and using scissors and everything. I just can't be bothered. Moving into my fabrics, these ones are definitely my favorites. They're all sparkly and all stretchy and shiny and just everything that I love about fabric. These ones here are my bigger sequin fabrics. The black one I've got so much of. And then up the top here, I just have all of my vintage sewing patterns that I put there. At the bottom, these are mostly furs, cashmere and wool. Then I've got some Sherpas there. I just use them to make pillowcases out of. Up here I've got all of my trims, like lace trims, feather trims, and then in that little bag that you can see, that's just some of my pattern making stuff. This one is mostly lace and sheer materials, and then the bottom is cotton. Up here we've got some lace and velvet, then we've got some jersey and some ribbed fabric there as well, and some lining. This big bag at the bottom, that is all full of 100% silk. And then this is a roll of stretch satin and then a roll of 100% silk down the bottom. I've got some contact paper, and then this was actually, I thought it was silver wrapping paper, and it ended up just being plastic. I just kept it because why not? I might use it one day. So that's that side of my table. If you come around to the other side, I do have more cottons and drills over here. At the top here, this is where I just put my sewing projects that we're doing at the moment in my one-on-one sewing lessons. This is the back end of those big things of fabric. Then I've got 2 spools of elastic here and then 1 bias tape. This one is Joshua's section, so all of the stuff that he's made me make for like camping stuff, like a battery cover and stuff, all of those are there. This is a big container of elastic. It's just pretty much all random elastic in there. This is where I keep all of my camera stuff, so my little tripod, my neck tripod, my batteries, chargers, things like that go in there. The bottom here, this is all of my labels for the different collections within the business that I'm going to open. All of them are in there, ready to use. This one down the bottom here, this is all of the bikinis that I've already cut out that I just need to sew together. So I just kind of like chuck them in there and then just sew them as I go along. Up the top here, this is where I keep all of my fishing weights. I use these as pattern weights so that I can not use pins. I can just chuck them on top of the pattern and then cut around it and it won't move. And then underneath the desk is just all of my really big tripods and lighting setups. Chandler just watching me make the weirdest video ever. When you go over to my windowsill here, I do have 2 big whiteboards and I just kind of like put in order of operations and my daily tasks in there. Hi, Lucky. Then back over here, I'll just give you a closer look at my mood board that's on the wall. These are all of the fabrics that I'm going to be using in my first collection for my business. You can see all of it is very shiny, very sparkly, very feminine, very me. I put all of those there just so I always have a constant vision of what I'm doing. And then on this wall, I do have 3 mirrors. I'm not going to show you what's inside the cupboard because it's really, really messy, but maybe another time I can do that for you. But yeah, anyway, these are all of my mirrors. And then back to the original mirror that we saw at the start. That is pretty much my whole sewing room. I know it's a little bit of a short video, but I did just want to show you because I find it interesting and maybe you will too. Please let me know in the comments what you want me to make next week. I will be taking requests, and thank you so much for watching. I hope you have a lovely day and I'll see you next time. Bye!